Today, we're going to turn the page on what it means to read aloud. We're taking a journey together, exploring how to transform a simple book into a dynamic living performance. And in the process, we're going to change how students experience stories forever. We are, of course, talking about readers' theater. For any educator, any parent, this is the million-dollar question, right? How do we get past that monotone, sometimes excruciating experience of just reading around in a circle? How do we turn it into something that actually builds confidence, boosts fluency, and gets kids to genuinely love stories? Well, that's where Reader's Theater comes in, and we're about to show you exactly how it works. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the what and the why of it all. Then we'll get practical and talk about choosing the perfect script and where to find some amazing resources. After that, we've got some pro tips for the performance itself. And finally, we'll look at the incredible, lasting impact this all has on students. All right, let's dive right in and start with the basics. When we throw around this term reader's theater, what are we really talking about? It's actually beautifully simple. Think of it as all the magic of theater, but without any of the elaborate, stressful stuff. The real power isn't in fancy props or costumes. It's all in the human voice, bringing words on a page to life. Everyone has their script right in their hands, so the focus is all on expressive reading, not on memorizing a single line. And this comparison here really makes it crystal clear. A traditional play is all about memorizing lines, hitting your marks, and using big sets and costumes. But Reader's Theater, it flips the script, literally. The script is a tool, not a test. The whole performance hinges on how you use your voice, the tone, the pace, the emotion. It's all about painting a picture for the audience with sound. So why even do this? Well, because it's so much more than just a fun Friday activity. It's an incredibly powerful teaching tool. The benefits are just huge. It directly helps build reading fluency because students are practicing with a purpose. It boosts their confidence because, hey, it's a super low-stakes performance. And to really perform a character, you have to understand them, which sends story comprehension through the roof. Most importantly, it gives students a genuine, authentic reason to read a text over and over and over again. And the literacy expert Timothy Rosinski just hits the nail on the head with this. When you're doing reader's theater, rereading isn't a chore anymore. It's rehearsal. It suddenly has a point, a goal, and that purpose is the secret sauce for building real, lasting fluency. Okay, so you're on board with the whole idea. Awesome. But where do you even begin? Well, a fantastic performance starts with a fantastic script. So let's break down how to pick a total winner. A great script really stands on 4 key pillars. First up, dialogue and voice. The story has to live in what the characters are saying, and you want each voice to sound unique and distinct. Second, structure. You need a clear beginning, middle, and end so everyone can follow the story's journey. Third is language. You're looking for that sweet spot, something that challenges students just a little but doesn't leave them frustrated. And finally, roles and representation. Make sure there are enough balanced parts to go around and look for stories that are inclusive so every student can see themselves in the performance. The education pioneer Dorothy Heathcote said it perfectly. This isn't about finding a script with one big star and a bunch of tiny parts. It's about real teamwork, where every single voice, every single role truly matters. All right, you know what to look for. Now, the big question. Where in the world do you find it? Don't worry, this next part is basically your cheat sheet for getting your hands on some fantastic, ready-to-go material. Let's start by looking at a couple of proven winners that work great for different age groups. For the younger crowd, you just can't go wrong with a classic like The Gruffalo. That rhythmic, repetitive language is absolutely perfect for building confidence in new readers. And the characters, you got the clever little mouse, the sly fox, the big booming Gruffalo, they all have such distinct voices that it's just plain fun for kids to perform them with expression. Now, for older students, this format can handle some seriously powerful material. Just look at the play version of The Diary of Anne Frank. Here, the magic is in that authentic, emotionally rich dialogue. Students aren't just reading words on a page anymore. They're digging into complex motivations, grappling with historical context, and exploring deep human themes. It just goes to show how incredibly versatile this technique really is. And the best part? You don't have to spend hours adapting these books yourself. There are some absolutely amazing and free resources online. Aaron Shepard's website, for instance, has this fantastic collection of scripts he's adapted from folktales all over the world. And the National Children's Book and Literacy Alliance, the NCBLA, offers research-backed guides and scripts. Honestly, These sites are total gold mines for any educator. So you've got your script, you've got your cast, now it's showtime. Or almost. It's time for the final step, the performance. And for this, we've pulled some incredible practical tips straight from Donna Herwick-Rice, an author who has written tons of Reader's Theater scripts. Her number one tip is also the most important one. It's so simple. Practice. Reading the lines out loud again and again and again is what transforms a clunky, awkward read-through into a smooth, confident performance. She even says it's almost like magic, because the more your students practice for the show, the better readers they become in everything they do. Okay, this next one sounds so obvious, but believe me, it makes all the difference in the world. Look up. Students need to hold their scripts low enough so that the audience can see their faces, see their expressions. That simple connection is what pulls an audience in and makes the whole performance engaging. And you can just hear it in her own words. That small physical act of looking up from the page is what turns reading into performing. It's a signal to the audience that says, hey, I'm not just reading to myself, I'm sharing this story with you. And here are a few more quick-fire pro tips from her. Try to stand still. All that nervous bobbing around can be really distracting. If you mess up a word, no big deal. Just correct it and keep right on going. The audience is going to remember the story, not the tiny slip-up. Oh, and use your face. React to what other characters are saying, even when it's not your turn to speak. It shows you're engaged. And finally, give your audience a moment. Let them laugh or clap without trying to talk over them. So there we have it. We've made the journey all the way from the page to the stage. But maybe the most important part of this whole story is what happens after the applause dies down. Why does any of this really matter in the long run? Well, the impact is really twofold. Academically, you see these clear, measurable gains in reading fluency, in comprehension, in vocabulary. But what's just as important, if not more so, is the personal growth. Students find a new confidence in speaking in front of others. They learn what it really means to collaborate and be part of a team. And by literally stepping into a character's shoes, they build empathy and learn to see the world from a completely different point of view. You see, Reader's Theater is so much more than just an activity. It's a key that unlocks stories, and it unlocks the potential in the students who tell them. It builds skills, it builds confidence, and it builds community, one script at a time. So really, the only question left to ask is, what story will your students bring to life?